I've also been in a position in the past before her to where I was making a lot of money and I didn't have the time to spend it. So I had all this money and all this stuff, but I wasn't really enjoying it. I didn't have the time to spend it. I didn't have the time to put into it. And work just became my identity. And ultimately, I think that's one of the biggest things that I figured out as she was born, that work was who I was. And I didn't want to be work. And so going through this existential crisis, I realized that many of us attach to this identity of work. We attach this identity of, who are you? Oh, I'm an accountant. Oh, I'm a business owner. Oh, I'm
100%.
this. And that's what you need to be. But then I recognize that if that's all I need to be, well, what kind of legacy am I living? Like, why does my life even matter at this point? And so I recognized that my values were not aligned with who I really was. And that's when I started to realize who I really was being a dad, doing jujitsu, having fun, living that life that I was starting to envy that I didn't have, that I could have, and I wasn't allowing myself to step into it.
Do you have a strategy or a thought on, for any man right now listening to this and is like, ooh, because I think most of us are honest, and I've been through this little change, like where work was my identity, like 100%. My business was my identity. What I did was my identity, and I've gone through that change. Do you have any suggestions on how people evaluate where they're at with their identity?
Yeah, that's a good question. We actually have an exercise I do with people where we call it the belief, values, identity process.
Oh, wow.
And so what we do is we write down on a scale of 1 through 10. If you know me, I like to systematize
I didn't
everything.
even know you had this. So I'm so glad I asked. This is so weird.
I have all these things.
Yeah.
So what we do is we write down values associated with what's important to you. So what is important to you? And we go work, family, spirituality, and there's about 10 different parameters, and you have to write a 1 through 10. And then next to it, we write down how closely are you living up to these values? And then you have to write a 1 through 10. Then you have to go and match what do I believe in and what am I actually living up to? And right there, when you do that, that's a big self-realization moment, because for a lot of men, they have a 10 on like family, but then work is a 10. And so then they're like, wow, I have a massive disconnect. And then from there, what we can do is work on reorganizing your priorities, your time, and your values to value who you really want to be and create that identity that I think as men, we don't have, because we live in this masculine structure to where we have to provide, we have to have bravado, and we have to do all these things. But in reality, your family doesn't need any of that. My little girl doesn't care. All she cares is that daddy plays dolls with her at night. All she cares is that we go to pancake breakfast every once in a while. All she cares is that I spend my time with her. Nothing else matters.